It's time for the X and Y Show with your host, Mr. Roosevelt. He talks about man topics, lady topics, and relationships. He talks about love, sex, and infidelities. He even gives good tips. There is no other show that compares to the X and Y Show.
Oh yeah. Sit back, take your clothes off, and relax. It's time for the X and Y Show, where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. The only place on the planet that tackles the topics that everyone wants to talk about, but no one is brave enough to address. Nothing escapes X and Y, baby. Now, here's your host, Roosevelt Colbert.
And greetings, and greetings. Welcome to another segment of the XY Show. I'm your host, Roosevelt, and welcome to another Friday segment of the XY Show. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the week, and that is a reward for making it to Friday. So Fridays is always a good thing. It's like the finish line. It's the reward of going through all that shit from Monday through Thursday and making it to Friday. So congratulations on that. And also congratulations on finding the XY Show. Now, if this is your first time, you can listen to the XY Show on the array of different platforms. I'm available on Stitcher. I'm available on Google Play Store. I'm also available on TuneIn as well. And also iTunes. And of course, Spreaker is my main platform which I broadcast from. I'm available on all social media. Well, a lot of them. The main ones. Twitter. I'm available on Facebook, Tumblr, and even Instagram. So you can find all of that on my website at www.thexyshow.com. That's www.thexyshow.com. You can follow all of my various different social media. You can also find all of the different platforms in which the X and Y Show is available. And whichever one that you listen to, whether it was iTunes or Stitcher, I'm on the Stitcher as well. Whichever you listen to, you can find it on my website and follow it there. And so to make it easy for you as possible to listen to the show and also see the archive shows on my Spreaker platform as well. So go to my website and you'll see everything available to you in that way. Also, I've improved my XY store. You can buy a shirt, you can buy a coffee mug, and other items are coming. So be sure to check out the XY Show. It's a very cool show. It is a cool show, but a cool shop. That's where my merchandise is. T-shirts and coffee mugs and so forth. Different items are coming, but I'm very proud of it. You should check it out. If you're a true X and Wire, you'll buy a shirt and take a picture of yourself, and I'll be sure to post that on my Instagram account. So check out the XY Show, and also you can also leave comments as well as constructive criticism or anything you want to say to me on the site as well. So be sure to check out my website. Go there and play with it and just walk around it and see what you can find. All right, without further ado, this week's episode we'll be talking about physical attributes of humans. And specifically, I'm talking about when it comes to physical appearance, who is more critical, men or women? Again, when it comes to physical appearance, who is more critical, men or women? Now, before I start the show, I just want to put this out there. I'm talking strictly of physical attributes. Especially a lot of women are saying, well, what about the heart? What about the mind? And I'm not talking about that on this show. On this segment, I'm dealing with particularly the physical attributes of a man or woman. Who's more critical? I'm not talking about the heart. I'm not talking about their soul. I'm not talking about their mind and all the rest of that shit. I'm talking about just the physical attributes. Who is more critical? That's all I'm talking about. Now, when it comes to this, when it comes to rating physical attributes, whether you're a man or woman, I think it comes down to, a lot of times it changes. And in my opinion, before I started, I think women are definitely more critical than men. I mean, that's just a given shit. I don't care what nobody says. Women are very picky when it comes to a man's personal and physical appearance. Even if they're fucked up, they still want the best in a man, which I find I still can't figure that shit out, but that's just my opinion. I'm going to elaborate on it as well. But I think when it comes to evaluating physical attributes in another sex, I think that race plays a factor, and also age plays a factor as well. And I'll definitely elaborate on the age factor later on in the show. Specifically myself, when I was younger, I wanted a lot more shit. When I wanted a certain type of woman, but when I've grown older and more mature, a lot of the shit I used to look for in a woman, I realize is bullshit, and I've become to be more real in my assessments of a woman's physical nature. But that's me, and that's me as a man. Women, on the other hand, tend to not, no matter how old they are, they tend not to change. A lot of women believe that changing is the same thing as settling. And that's not necessarily the case. A lot of times, if they find and really listen to themselves what they want in a man, they would realize there's just a bunch of bullshit. But a lot of times they just don't. And they want one thing, and they want certain things, and they want it, and that's it. No compromise, no settling. So anyway, I think race definitely plays in age. And I say age because I think, like I said, in concerning myself, maturity plays a factor in assessing someone's physical attributes. Certain things that you looked at in a woman or man in your 20s, when you're in your 40s, is probably different, more than likely. But I think it's more different for a man than it is for a woman. Women, when they get older, they let certain things slide. But for the most part, they want the same shit they wanted in their 20s. And that's not being real. But I believe that everyone, when it comes to everyone, race definitely plays a part, and age. Now, when I say race, I mean black men when they look at a woman, they look at certain physical attributes. You know, when white men look at a woman, they look at certain attributes that are different than when a black man look at them. I have black friends that, you know, look at women and, you know, they have a big ass, you know, and they cool. You know, that's what they want. They go after them. A lot of white friends. I notice my white friends are more toned to titties. You know, they love the big titties. You know, dude, she got big titties, bro. I mean, they love the big titties. You know, I have Indian friends that they don't care. They told me that I don't care as long as she's pretty. You know, you know. So it's different. Different attributes are more important to some races than they are to others. And so when you're looking at, and that works both ways, for a woman and a man. When you look at certain different attributes, where the race definitely plays a part in how you evaluate those attributes. So I think that when it comes to looking at the physical attributes of the next sex, I think race definitely plays a factor, and also age plays a factor as well. Now, most women look at, when they're looking at a man, physical attributes, most women are looking at generally 7 different factors. The first factor they're looking at is the body mass. Now, what I mean by that, some women like their man to be muscular. Some women like their man to be a swimmer type body, you know, basically a skinny motherfucker. And some women like the basketball type player body, which is a skinny, tall motherfucker. Some women even like the teddy bear type body mass. You know, with a little meat on their bones, you know, they're a little thick, but not fat, not obese. So a lot of women, you know, those generally are what women assess their man when they're looking for. They want them slim, or they want them tall and slim, or they want a teddy bear type, or average, you know. Women also look at the eye color of men. Want blue eyes, want brown eyes, want hazel eyes, whatever. They also look at that. Some women also look at hairstyle of a man. Whether the man have hair or they have the bald look. Which, you know, a lot of, you know, guys are wearing the bald look, you know. So some women like that shit. Some women, that's all they want to deal with. Bald men. Some women won't date bald men. they want men with hair. So, you know, it depends on what man you're talking about. Excuse me, what women you're talking about, and what preferences they have in a man in regards of hair. Now, to go further in hair, facial hair. Some women like beards. Some women like mustaches. You know, some women hate beards. Some women hate mustaches. Most women, well, some women, I would say, a lot of women hate facial hair. Some women prefer that you be clean shaven. I had a girlfriend, well, she wasn't really a girlfriend. She was just somebody I was fucking. But she preferred someone who's clean shaven. If you know me, I don't do that. I mean, I never did the clean shaven look. If I did, it was because I fucked up on my goatee or something like that, or my facial hair, and I had to cut it all off and start over. But that's not something that I would, do voluntarily. Go clean shaven. I wear my facial hair and kind of trendy. I have pork chop, sideburns, and a very trendy goatee. A different look. So my facial hair is real groovy, if you know what I mean. So I take pride in that, and I don't, that's I just don't go clean shaven, and I realize that I know for a fact with some women that is disqualified me because I have facial hair. It's a bullshit. But some women assess their men in that way. They don't want facial hair. And that's what I mean. Women are not willing to compromise. They don't give a fuck how a person is on the inside. When they see certain things on the outside, that disqualifies them automatically. You have women out there that just because a man have a damn beard, that disqualifies them. Or mustache, that they're disqualified. And I just think that's bullshit. But anyway, moving on. So facial hair. Talking about hair on the head and bald look as well. And we're talking about facial hair. Now, another factor that women look at is the skin tone. They want someone dark or average or brown or light skin, and I'm particularly talking about African American women. Some African American women like dark brothers, some don't. Some prefer the light skinned brothers, some hate the light skinned brothers. Which I think is bullshit as well. It's what. If just because a man is dark skinned or light skinned or whatever the fuck he is, should not matter if he's a good dude. If he's a good dude, it don't matter if his skin is purple. He should be cool. But again, that's what some women prefer. So some women like dark skin, some women like light skin, some women like average tone or coffee, whatever the fuck. Now that's mostly African American women, but white women as well. Some women, white women, they like white guys. They like white guys who are tanned. They don't like white pale guys. So that's bullshit as well. But that's another factor that women look at, the skin tone. Another thing is the height of a man. A lot of women look at the height. They want 6'1", they want 6'2", they want 6'5", whatever the case may be. They want tall men. Some women want short men. They want, because they're short, they're 5'4", whatever the case may be. They want someone who's 5'8", maybe 5'6", But height does play a factor when a woman is assessing a man's physical attributes. They look at the height as well. And another factor is, of course, the ass. They like a man's ass. He got a sex ass, blah, 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 blah. So a lot of women look at that. Now, some women also look at the man's feet. They're trying to determine if he has a big dick or not. You do have certain women like that. And that's fine. They look at a man's feet. If he has small feet and they think he has a small dick. If he has big feet, they think he has a big dick. So you have some women that actually look at a man's feet as well when they're looking at his physical attributes. Now, on the other hand, men are different. Now, men, for the most part, are one or two-dimensional when it comes to looking at women. And what I mean by that is if we see one trait that we like, or two, we pretty much go in for the kill. I mean, that's good enough. We see one and we see two. Oh shit, that's a bonus. We like a nice ass. She got titties too. Oh, she mine. So we going for the kill. Men are simple. Men are. We say we want this, we want that. But if we get something that's good, that's good enough. I mean, we get all that other bullshit. Generally, now there are always exceptions to the rule. But generally, if a man gets something that he's happy with and is outside of his preference range, then it's okay. Generally. Now, like I said, sometimes there are exceptions to the rule. Now, as far as men go, we look at certain aspects when it comes to women, just like they do to men. But it's a little different, but not much. And it's only because a woman is built to be looked at. A woman was born to be looked at. A woman was breed. That's in their DNA. I mean, everything about a woman is to look at. I mean, their ass, their hips, their titties, their face, everything about a woman is for you to look at. So it's kind of different from a man's point of view. When you're looking at, when you're assessing the two, it's kind of different. But a man, the difference is, a man is willing to compromise. If he can't get one thing and another thing is stronger, then a man will take it. If she don't have a nice ass, but she got some good big titties, a man will take that. If a man wants big titties, but she has average titties, a man will take that. Compromise. But a woman will not. A woman wants a certain thing, and a woman is going to get that thing, and she'll die trying. But anyway, let me just go back on what men look at when it comes to women. It's about the same thing, but a little different variations, but it's not nothing major. Now, as far as body mass, men look at women in that way as well. Some men want slender women, like skinny ass women. I mean, personally, I never liked skinny women because normally skinny women don't have ass. And I know some of you skinny women that are listening to this and think you have ass, you don't. And I just feel that I will hurt a skinny woman. I just, you slap on the ass, I feel like I'm going to break their hip or something. I just don't like skinny women. That's just my preference. But I wouldn't disqualify a woman for being skinny. If I start talking to her and we start shooting shit and blah, 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 even though she's not my preference, I wouldn't disqualify her for being skinny. You see what I'm saying? But when it comes to a woman, it's different. A woman's preference is this, and she won't even talk to you if it's that. She won't deviate from that. Whereas a man, she's skinny. She's not my type, but damn, I like her. She's cool. Blah, blah. I might have kick it with her. I know for a fact because that happened to me. I don't like skinny women, but I've dated skinny women because they turn out to be cool and we vibe well together. So, But anyway, when it comes to body mass, some women are looked upon as by men. Some men like slender. Some men like average. Some men like the Amazon type. That would be my category. That's where I fit in. I like Amazons. I like big ass women that are like big women. You know, like not muscular, but you know, like big strong women. You know, like I don't know. I can't think of anybody right now. Shit. I can't think of anybody right now. But someone who's like Amazon. You know what an Amazon is? Like Wonder Woman or some shit. That's what I like. So some men like slender, average, Amazon. Some men like voluptuous. Women with a whole lot of ass on them. Some men like that. So, you know, depends on what man you are, what race you are, because I tend to see that my white friends, and you know, different strokes for different folks, but my white friends like slender women. You know, they like women who's 90 pounds, you know, 95 pounds and shit. You know, little women. But, you know, my black friends or my Hispanic friends like either average women or voluptuous, Amazon-y women. You know, that kind of shit. You know, bigger women, ass, titties, that kind of thing. And white guys like titties too. But, you know. So body mass is definitely something that men look at. Either whether it's slender, average, Amazon, or voluptuous. Another thing that men look at is eye color. You know, some men look at that shit. You know, they like green eyes, brown eyes, pretty brown eyes. You know, whatever the case may be, they look at the women's eyes, they look at the color of their eyes. So that's important to some men. So they do look at the eyes. Another aspect that men assess is the hairstyle. Whether a woman has a lot of weave or no weave. Me personally, I don't. Now, that will disqualify a woman with me. I don't like fake hair. I don't like weave. I don't like clip-ons and all that shit. Bunch of horse ass hair in a woman's head. I don't like that. I'm sorry. That is the one thing that will disqualify a woman with me. I don't care how beautiful she is. I don't care how fine she is. I don't care how good she smells. I don't care about nothing. If she has fake hair in her head, she's disqualified. If she has clip-ons in her head, she's disqualified. I don't know why women put that shit in their head. If you don't have long hair, you weren't meant to have long hair. Just let it go. Leave it alone. And all women are guilty of this. Black women, white women, Hispanic women. You know, they wear weave, they wear clip-ons and all that shit all in their head. Hanging like they have long hair and they don't. And a lot of times that shit stinks. I mean, it's just all kind of bad. I don't like it. And that's one aspect about a woman that would definitely disqualify her from me. Fake hair, I don't like that. So, ladies, men do look at your head. If you have weave, if you have clip-ons, or if you have natural hair. I'd rather see a woman with short, natural hair than long hair coming to her ass and they stole from a horse's tail and shit. That's just me, but you know, every guy's different. But hair is definitely an aspect that men look at when it comes to women. Now, height is another factor. Some men like short women. Some men like average. Some men like tall. Me, myself personally, I like tall women. I like at least 5'7", 5'8", and up. But that's not to say that I would not date or get with a woman that's 5 feet. You see what I'm saying? I'm willing to compromise. If she's nice, if she's cool and we vibing, she's 5 feet, okay. No, she's not my number one preference, but it's cool. She's cool. I like a tall woman, but I deal with it. It's not that important. It's not my number one preference, but it is okay. Willing to make a compromise. You see what I'm saying? But women are not. Women if they want someone 6'5", 6'4", they want someone 6'5", 6'4". They don't want one 5'7", or 5'8". No, it's not gonna happen. Even 5'11", they don't want that. They want 6'5", 6'4", 6'6", and that's what they want. They're not settling. But anyway, let me continue. Now, besides height, the man also looks at ass as well. Of course, a man definitely looks at a woman's ass. Shit. And when I'm talking about these attributes, I'm not talking about in order of preference. I'm just talking generally. Okay, I'm just listing them. I'm not talking about in order of importance. Because ass would have been number one. No matter what race or how old you are. Now, another factor is hips. Now, that's something that men don't have. So a woman can assess that. But on the other hand, men can assess a woman's hips. A lot of men like hips. And, of course, last but not least, titties. Men love titties. They do. I admit it. They do. So if you're a woman that are A cup or really flat chested, go in your backyard right now, or if you live in an apartment, go on your balcony and shoot yourself. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I didn't mean that. Really. I didn't. I really didn't mean that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just playing with you guys. Yeah, come on, ladies. Just a little jokey joke. But no, I don't mean if you have no titties, you're flat chested, please, you're not less of a woman than the woman with big titties. And I want to have a show on that later on that as well. Because I really hate that women, a lot of women nowadays are altering themselves to please men. And I think that's bullshit. I think, if you're born with small titties, be happy. Be happy with your small titties. Don't let a man change you, okay? If you feel beautiful with small titties, then damn it, you keep those small titties. Don't let a man change you. So I really, I really feel strong about that. And I was just playing. I don't mean if you have small titties that you should go out and shoot yourself. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that men, they do look at titties. I would be lying if I say they didn't. I would be lying if I say they did not. Men do look at titties. They do. They do. That's just something in a man's DNA. You know. But still, I believe that women are definitely more critical when it comes to assessing the opposite sex physical attributes. I do. Now, let me give you a little example. Like I said earlier, for the most part, men compromise on their preferences for reality. For example, if they want a woman with big titties, if they meet a woman with small titties and she's cool, they vibe together, they laugh together, you know, they really match one another and everything's cool, but she has those little titties. 9 times out of 10, a man will compromise. A man will say, look, she's not my preference, you know, but I really like this girl, man. I'm digging it. I've seen it too many times. I know this to be true. Does it happen all the time? No. Hell no. It's always an exception to the rule. There's some men out there that want big titties and they don't even look at a woman with small chests. Yes, they do exist. I would be lying if I said they didn't. There are men out there that if the women don't have big titties, don't even talk to them. There's always an exception to the rule. But for the most part, if a man wants big titties and he meets a woman with small titties, that's everything he wants in a woman except for those titties, he's going to compromise. He's going to say, fuck that. She has small titties, but damn, she's a good woman. She's just what I've been looking for. 9 times out of 10, a man will compromise and take her anyway. Whereas a woman will not. A woman that prefers a certain type, they don't compromise. They don't give in. 9 times out of 10, a woman just waits until what they want, or what they think they want, comes along. That's why you have so many beautiful old-ass maids walking around. I know some of you have seen them, like, damn, she pretty for an old chick. You know, she older chick, or whatever the case may be. She's pretty. How is she single? You know? And she's single because she's wanting something that is ridiculous, really. Wanting something like, you know, the Prince Charming effect. And when I say that, basically perfect. A lot of women want perfect men. They want everything perfect. They want a 6-pack. They want a 6'4", 6'5". You know, they want them blue eyes and blah, blah. They want them to have hair and, you know, all this shit that really don't mean nothing. Like, don't get me wrong. Physical attributes are important, okay? They are. And I know that now from being older. When I was younger, it really didn't. Physical attributes didn't mean that much to me. All I cared was about the pussy when I was younger. If she had a pussy, then that's all that mattered. if she had something attractive, big titties, or nice eyes, nice ass, hips, whatever the case may be, that was good enough. Because I know she had some good, some pussy that when I was younger. But as I've grown older, it's been different. There's things that you should look at besides the pussy. And that's where the maturity comes in. But again, we're talking about physical attributes tonight. We're not talking about the heart. We're not talking about intellectual attributes. We're talking about just physical. But again, like I said, when a woman wants a certain thing, she does not give in. She does not settle, so to speak, which a lot of women say. I'm not settling. I'm not settling. Oh no, I'm not settling. That's why you have a bunch of old ass maids walking around. Pretty women that's not married. Atlanta's full of them. Atlanta, Georgia is full of women who are old maids. And they're old maids because they desire or they prefer a certain type of man and they haven't crossed them. So they just fuck it. I'm staying single until he come by. Bunch of silly asses. But, Atlanta's not the only city. There's other cities. Miami is another one. Miami is definitely another. There's other cities. There's all cities across the USA where a lot of single women is walking around because their standards are just too high. And they don't bend. Their standards are a certain level in their 20s. And they're the same level in their 50s and 60s and shit. I've seen women who are not in their prime and still is the measure of extreme, of being critical when it comes to a man's looks. Women in their 50s and 60s. Now, granted, just because a woman in their 50s and 60s don't mean that they're not fine. I actually prefer women in their 50s and 60s. If you know me, you know I'm telling the truth. But that's another story. But let's face it. If a woman is in their 50s and 60s, they're not as tight as they were in their 20s and 30s, okay? But they still want the maximum attractiveness in a man. And they're not attractive as they used to be. You see what I'm saying? But they're still overcritical of what their man should look like. It's almost like, okay, I know I'm not fine anymore, or as fine as I used to be, but you're going to be really fine. And that's bullshit. And again, that's why a lot of women are walking around alone. I've even seen fat women who is very critical about a man's appearance as far as their body mass, and the fat women desiring or preferring slender men. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Everyone has a right to have a certain preference. But I think that if you're fat as hell, you should have some leniency when it comes to a man's physical attributes. If he's not slender like you like it, if he's a teddy bear or he's muscular, whatever the case may be, he's different than your preference. I think you should compromise. I think you should bend a little. It's not settling, but just bend a little. I've had fat women personally tell me, I don't like fat guys because they just, I gotta have somebody who fine. What the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? Walked in the corner, they out of breath, and they talking about they want somebody really, really fine. That's what I mean, though. Women are overly critical, even though they might not be ideally, ultimately fine or attractive. They still want somebody who is. I'll give you a perfect example. There are clubs of men who like BBWs. BBWs are basically big women, I don't want to say fat, but they're big women. And I like big women too. Don't get me wrong. Big women, I shouldn't say that. Telling y'all too much about business. I'm going to leave that alone. But big women are nice. It's not that I don't like big women, okay? But I'm just giving you an example. There are clubs of men who they date or want or desire to marry BBWs. They want a big woman, And I'm talking about men who are in shape, Some of them are out of shape. But a lot of them are, average sized men, but they want big women. They want the BBWs. You heard about the clubs. I know you've seen it. You can go online, just type in BBW. Thousands of clubs or organizations will show up of men, clubs that you can join of men who like BBWs, big women. Now, do you see any clubs of BBMs? Of men liking, fat men or, big men? Do you see that? I haven't, but I guess because I'm not looking for a man. But I haven't, usually I hear about shit like that. I haven't heard anything. If you have, send me an email. I will correct myself. I will correct myself and apologize for saying this. But I haven't seen it. I haven't seen one club that is catered for women who like BBMs. Is there a club like that exists? Hell no. Hell no. It's not. But on the other hand, there are thousands of organizations for men, or that are formed for men who desire a BBW, desire a bigger woman. And again, I like big women. I'm not saying that anything wrong with them, but as society standards would quote, big women are not the attractive women of society. Which is bullshit, but I mean, that's what society says. But those men beg to differ. That's what they like. That's what they enjoy. That's what they prefer. But you won't find any women's organizations for that. You won't. Now I'm going to give you an example of me. Okay? My preferences when I'm going to give you over a 20 year span, something like that, whatever. And basically, the attributes that I looked at when it came to women, or, physical attributes. Now, when I was in my 20s, I wanted a woman with a nice ass. I wanted a woman with a certain height. I like tall women. I still like tall women, really. But, like I said, if I meet a short, nice woman, it's cool. But this is what I prefer. So when I was in my 20s, I liked a nice ass. I liked height. I liked her to be tall, probably about 5'9" and up. And I also looked at the voice type. Meaning by that, I hated a woman with that high-pitched voice. Like, I really hated that shit. I mean, when I met a woman like that, I just want to choke their ass out. I like a woman with a deep voice, sexy voice. Like, hey, like that. I like a woman with a. So I looked at the voice type as well. So nice ass, height, voice type, and I also looked at camel toe. Now a lot of you are probably asking, what the hell is a camel toe? A camel toe is basically when you look at a woman's front, down there where her pussy is, and her pants, and if it's the shape of you can see the shape of her pussy, that's a camel toe. Now I'm talking about when I was in my 20s now, okay? But that's a camel toe. So normally, if you can see the print of her pussy in her pants, she has a fat pussy. So that's the things I looked at when I was in my 20s. When it came to looking at a woman. Nice ass, a camel toe, a height, at least 5'9" and up, and a voice type as well. Now, moving on my 30s. Now look how it changed. My 30s, all I still wanted that nice ass. I do. I still wanted that nice ass. Now, big titties came into play in my 30s. My 20s, I didn't give a fuck about titties. I really didn't. I mean, if she had a nice ass, a small titty, I didn't care. 20s, I didn't care about that, But when I was in my 30s, she had a nice ass and big titties. I didn't care about the voice type any longer. I didn't care about the height as much. I still prefer the tall women, but if a short one came along, cool. So height wasn't important as well. Camel toe was out as well. Like I said earlier, a lot of times, race has a factor when it comes to a sense of women. Different races look for certain attributes. Certain races look for one thing, certain races look for others. A lot of times age comes into play as well. When you were younger, you looked at certain shit. As you grow older, you looked at certain shit. Once you mature, you realize certain shit that you looked at in your younger years was bullshit. So when I was in my 30s, I still wanted that nice ass. I wanted big titties, but the height was not important anymore. The camel toe was definitely not important. The voice type was definitely not important. Now, in my 40s, I still want that nice ass. That's, hey, it can be 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s. I'm still going to want that nice ass. I do. That's just something about that ass. Damn. That ass. But anyway. Now, instead of big titties, now that I'm in my 40s, I want just titties. I want titties. But do they have to be big? No. So I want that nice ass, But I don't want big titties anymore. I mean, if I get them, that's fine. But I don't find, it's not necessary that I have big titties. I just want titties now. If it's a nice B cup, fuck it. It's good. Shit, if it's a nice A cup, it's good. But as long as you have some. But it's not like, when I was in my 30s, I want big titties. I want a D cup, F cup, E cup, all that shit. But now, I'm in my 40s. I still want that nice ass. And I just want titties. Just something to put in my mouth, and a mouthful, Don't have to be big. Just something. A big A cup. That's cool. So you see what I'm getting at. From my 20s, I wanted certain things. Nice ass, a camel toe, height, even the voice type was important to me. Now this is just me. Other guys are different. Some guys wanted the big titties in their 20s. And some guys still want big titties in their 40s. So certain guys are different. There's always exceptions and different things when it comes to different people. But I'm just giving you an idea for how things could change over the years once you mature. And when I was in my 20s, I wanted things that really was bullshit, Not a nice ass, but the camel toe, looking at a woman, see if she had a pussy shows through her pants. That's bullshit. Height. That's cool. You want a tall woman, but you want to disqualify a woman because she's tall. She could be a short woman, but she could be a good woman. Voice type, even though I hate high-pitched voices, should I disqualify a woman for having a high-pitched voice? No. Now I know that. When I was young, I didn't give a fuck. If she had a high-pitched voice, get out of my face. But now it's not like that. So you see over the years when I was in my 20s, when I got in my 30s, it changed significantly. I still wanted a nice ass, cut out the camel toe and the height and the voice type, and I added the big titties. Got in my 40s, I still wanted a nice ass, not the big titties though, wasn't required, just titties. And, like I said, A cup would be fine. But to be honest with you, even if a woman is flat-chested, but she's a good woman, then even the titties don't matter. But that ass do. But my point is, over the years, as I matured, I looked at certain things when it comes to a woman's physical attributes, realized a bunch of stuff that I used to look at in my younger years was a bunch of bullshit. And that I've grown older now and realized that, yes, I'm not going to sit in here and lie to you and say that physical attributes is not essential when it comes to finding a mate. No, I'm not going to lie to you like that. Unfortunately, it is. That's just the way it is. Physical attributes is very important. And not just with the human species. There's all kind of animals out there. Peacocks. Damn chickens. Everything. The female looks at the male, if he's pretty and shit, or fine, or whatever you want to say. That's who she's going to mate with. Some other animals, who wins the fight, but there's a lot of species out there who's the most pretty. Humans are the same way, Is she pretty? Is he handsome? That's what's most important. That's the first thing. That's the first line of defense when it comes to assessing, can they be my mate, my soulmate for life? Do they look good? It's important. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's not. But what I am going to tell you, I think is more important to women than it is to men. Men are willing to compromise. You know, using myself as an example, you know, over the years, my preferences changed dramatically. And I'm not saying I'm the status quo either, but for the most part, men are willing to bend a little when it comes to a woman's looks. But on the other hand, women, for the most part, some women are. Okay, I'm not going to say that all women are the same. But for the most part, women are not willing to compromise. They're not willing to bend. They prefer something, they want something, and that's it. If you're not fitting in that mold, get the fuck out their face. They're not settling. So if you're not what they want, then they don't need you. And they won't deviate from that. For the most part, there are always exceptions to the rule. Ask yourself, your female friends that you know that are single, are they picky? Are they extremely critical when it comes to a man's looks? Do you think that your single females are willing to deviate from what they desire physically in a man? Do you believe that they would do that? Now, some of you are saying, hell no. My friend wants someone who is tall, dark, and handsome, 6'5", and this and that, and blah, blah. And not change it from that. That's just the way it is. They don't want anything different than what their preferences are. They don't want to deviate from that. That's what they want, and that's it. Case closed. If they don't find it, fuck it. They stay single. You know I'm not telling a lie. You know I'm not telling a lie. Well, on the other hand, men, you know, a lot of men, like me personally, when I was younger, I looked for a lot of bullshit. You know, but as we go older, you know, we say, well, you know, maybe big ass titties not important. You know, she don't have to be a D cup or F cup. If she got an A cup, oh shit, if she flat chested, yeah, she got other things going on, so that's cool. Men are willing to compromise. Men are willing to bend on finding the perfect mate. On the other hand, women are not. And there's always exceptions to the rule, like I said. Yes, there are some women that are willing to compromise and bend. Yes, there are men that are not willing to compromise and bend. There's always exceptions, sections to the rule. But for the most part, women do not compromise or deviate from what they prefer when it comes to a man's physical attributes. So when I ask that question, when it comes to physical appearance, who is more critical, men or women? The answer is women, hands down. No doubt in my mind. Women are more critical in assessing a man's physical attributes than a man is critical assessing a woman's attributes. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it always have been. And that's probably the way, probably just the way it always will be. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. When it comes to physical appearance, who's more critical, men or women? I think I've answered the question thoroughly. And for you, those of you know me, and for those that know or have single women friends and single men friends, make your own judgment. When you talk to them, you know them. Your man friends, you know they were compromised, how much they were compromised. You know your female friends, how much they were compromised, how much they would deviate from what they want. And when you know, or you ask them and find out, then you'll see that women are definitely more critical in assessing a man's looks than men are assessing a woman's looks. Is that wrong? Well, I guess it depends on who you are. I'm not worried myself because I know one day I'll be in the old folks' home and I'll be fucking all of them. But for the regular person, should it matter? Yeah. I don't know. I guess there's something that, society, unfortunately, would have to look into and see if that's something that really matters. I think it does. I think it does matter because I think everyone needs someone. Everyone should be happy. If you prefer a certain thing, I'm not saying that you're wrong for preferring someone who's 6'5", and 6-pack and basketball body. I'm not saying that men are wrong for wanting someone with big ass titties. But what I am saying is if you find someone who's basically what you've been looking for your whole life in other ways, but they come short in just a little bit of their physical appearance than what you dreamed about and what was your ideal person, and you disqualify them for that, then I have a problem with that. No one's perfect. And for those of you who are listening to this episode who are married, you can look at your husband or wife and you can say, look, I know if you could tell them, you probably told them, some of them, you're nothing what I pictured that I would marry. I thought I'd marry someone who's taller. I thought I'd marry someone who was shorter. I thought I'd marry someone who was more in shape. I thought I'd marry someone who had big titties or whatever the case may be. But you're married and you're together, you're happy. It's count for something, right? And I think it counts for sometimes. I think society plays so much or puts so much emphasis on physical attributes when in reality, I think that, don't get me wrong, physical attributes, they are important, but I don't think they are the most important. When it comes to finding a mate or finding someone who you're going to spend the rest of your life with, I think that you should look at other factors as well, like a grading scale, a curve as a lot of professors used to do. You know, you fucked up on certain questions, but you got the bonus right, or, you know, you got more questions than anybody else, so we're going to play off the curve. I think that should apply when looking at a person's physical attributes. No, they don't have the big titties. No, they don't. They're not. The guy's not tall. You know. No, they don't have blue eyes. They have brown eyes. You know, all that bullshit. But they have other things. So I'm gonna put him or her on a curve. I think that's what we should do as a society. Physical attributes are important, but they shouldn't be the determining factor when deciding your soulmate. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. And be sure to join me for next week. Remember again, you can listen to the XY Show on many different platforms. I'm on Google Play. I'm on iTunes. I'm on TuneIn. I'm on Stitcher. And you can also find my archived episodes on Spreaker as well. You can find me on all of the social networks, or the main ones anyway. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr. And you can find all of them on my website, www.thexyshow.com. That's www.thexyshow.com. And you can also feel free to visit the XY store and get you a t-shirt or a coffee mug and show that you're a true X and Wire. And there are other items that are coming down the pike as well. So be sure that you visit the X and Y website and feel free to give me any comments or constructive criticisms that you may have on the show. And you can also find out upcoming episodes as well on the website. So be sure to always check with that as well, to be fully attuned to what's coming down the pike as far as the show and the subject matter is concerned. And with that, I guess that is it for tonight. And I really enjoyed talking to you folks tonight. I hope, like I said, I hope you really enjoyed the show and listened to what I said. And I think that, if you listen to me, that's always a good thing. And I want you to always remember that there cannot be any love in any relationship or marriage without X and Y. See you next week. This is the X and Y Show. I'm your host, Roosevelt, signing off. Later.
You've been listening to The X and Y Show with your host, Roosevelt Colbert, the place where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. Join us next time. You can now put your clothes back on. Or not.